am going to do a quick video on doing a quick dinner, and so I'm gonna do like a so I have my laptop on the counter, and so it looks weird. So I have some leftover broccoli, and I have some mushrooms, and I'm going to cut up this part of this onion, and I have an egg. It's gonna be like an egg scramble bowl, like I don't know, egg scramble with some broccoli, mushrooms, and onions. I don't know, I might add some cheese on it, but it's gonna be like a quick dinner idea, like if you're running late on time, or you want something that's done like really fast. And so it's pretty fast to make, so hopefully this doesn't take too long to film. So I already cut up my broccoli, so this was like broccoli florets, and so I cut it up into pieces. And since this is it's already been cooked, I'm essentially just gonna heat it up when I put it in the pan with the other stuff. So I'm gonna put this in last. And the mushrooms, I like them really tender, and so they're kind of tough if you don't. For me, they feel like they're a bit too chewy when you don't cook them long enough. So I'm gonna put the mushrooms in here first. First, I don't think my oil is heated up, so I cook with extra virgin olive oil. Well, this is just olive oil. It's a lighter flavor, so I don't know if it's like genuine olive oil, or I don't know how they make a lighter version of olive oil, but this is what I have. I don't put too much in there. I just use like a regular pan. It's not non-stick or anything like that. So I have light oil. I have it on medium low heat. I mean, you can kind of see the flame. I have a gas range. You can kind of see it's not super high. So I'm just gonna let it heat up a little bit before I put it in. And you can tell when it's heated up, because you don't want the skillet to start smoking, because then it's too hot and your oil is burning. But when I don't know if you can tell, but if you pick up the pan and the oil moves really easily, like it's warmed up, that's how I know my skillet is hot. So that's how I test it. So I think it's pretty good warmed up now. And then, so this has water. It was a little wet because I rinsed, so I don't recommend doing this, because the water mixed with oil, hot oil, it's not good. Soon it splashes up, but I feel like I'm somewhat of a pro. So I've never burned down a house. I've never caught food on fire or anything like that. So I feel like I'm a decent cook. So I'm gonna rinse this off. And so while the mushrooms are cooking, I am going to do two things. And so I try to like multitask when I'm cooking, because I want my food to get done faster. So while that's cooking, I'm going to cut up the onions, which are going to go second into the pan. So I think it's important, if you're just starting out cooking, that you know what order you're going to put your food in, because you don't want to put something in like onions first, because onions are going to cook really fast. And so I don't want these to burn or get overcooked while I'm waiting for the other stuff in the pan to get done. So I usually put the onions in last, or like, second to last maybe. I definitely don't put the onions in first, because they're gonna either burn or get too overcooked. let me grab, I don't know if I mentioned this last time in the food video, but I keep these little paper like lunch bags and to put like my food scraps in when I'm cooking. And so like when I'm done, I can just take this out to the dumpster, and that way I don't have like rotting food like sitting in the trash can in my house. So I'm pretty much just gonna dice these smallish cubes. So I had a half onion left, so this is probably about, I don't know, like a fourth of an onion. So you want to keep an eye on your food while you're doing this because you don't want it to burn. This looks like the heat might be up a little bit too high, so I'm going to lower it a little bit. And so I'm just going to wait a little bit longer before I put the onion in. And what else? So I have an egg, and so I'm going to crack the egg open and then season the egg. So I noticed some people, when they cook eggs, they don't season the eggs. And so I season my eggs before I put it in the pan, before I eat it, because I don't usually like the salt and pepper like sitting on top of the egg. I like it mixed in, or just generally I like the seasoning mixed in with my food. So especially with eggs, I like to season them before I cook them. So I might need a little bit more oil. Put that in there. Just mix this around. Gross. Mix this in here. And I'm going to grab my onions and I'm going to put them in now. And I'm going to add some, I think this garlic powder. I have fresh garlic, but I don't feel like cutting that up and doing all that. So this is a lot quicker. And this is black pepper. So I'm going to put the egg in there last once. It's going to be the very last thing that I put in. And I don't know what else. I think I'm going to put dry basil. Maybe I'll put it in last and let it get mixed in with other stuff. I don't know what else I'm going to put in there. So I'm just going to do salt. Just a little bit, because I feel like once I mix this in with other stuff, I'm probably going to need to add more salt. You don't want to over salt it. So salt is probably the only thing that you really want to be careful with. You're mixing it before you can taste the food. So these onions and mushrooms take a really long time. So I like when the onions get a little bit translucent or they start to brown. That's when I feel that they're ready. So I feel like there's nothing else for me to do until those onions get the right temperature. Oh, I want to try. I bought this, but I don't use it a lot. It is mushroom powder. So maybe we'll give it like a bit more meaty, mushroomy flavor. I forgot. I think it's called like umami. Like a mushroom that meaty mushroom flavor. Because I was looking for actually like, I think umami or nani or something. Because I heard talking about it on like a vegan podcast. And so I couldn't find the exact thing that said, but when I looked it up, I believe it said that the umami was like mushroom powder or like a blend of mushrooms. And this is organic shiitake mushroom powder. And it's got some other stuff in there, but it doesn't have salt. So maybe I'll add that in. So make sure you stir it. Make sure it's not sticking. Add the broccoli. Give it to mix all together. Because I feel like once I put the egg in, it's not going to mix together really. It's going to get kind of sticky. So, and then I'm going to put this egg in. So you really want to make sure when you're mixing your egg in with a lot of food like this, you really want to make sure that it gets fully cooked. I feel like I could have done like an extra egg. Would have been. Make sure I add seasoning to it. This is the mushroom powder. A little bit. Turn down the fire. Just making sure it doesn't burn. I think that mushroom powder is really good. Whoa, I just dumped out into the pan. A little bit more garlic. And just a little bit more salt. Not too much. And then I'm gonna mix it and it's gonna be ready to eat. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this fire off. So always when you're finished, you wanna make sure that the fire is off and you wanna remove the pan from the heat source. So move it onto like a cool part of the stove. And I got my bowl. As stuff is cooking, it's clean. So a lot of times, if it was something that I was cooking a little bit longer, you could, wash out some dishes as you're waiting for that stuff to get done. But I'm just gonna clean off this counter, wipe it down for any food that might have spilled on it. now I'm ready to get the bowl and pour the stuff into the bowl from the pan. So this is what it looks like. It doesn't look pretty. It doesn't look that appetizing, but I tasted it, and it tasted good. The umami and the mushrooms added a really good flavor in there. I feel like this is like a lot of food. So it's another look at the bowl. Doesn't look that appetizing. And so some of my food stuck in the pan. Mainly the egg was the culprit. So I'm going to put some water in this and let this soak so that when I'm done eating and I get ready to clean, that I don't have to do a bunch of scrubbing. And this is the finished meal. You can probably do this with 2 eggs and get more egg, maybe less broccoli. It's a lot of broccoli. But I wanted to like eat it up. I didn't want to waste it, throw it away.